It was a sunny Saturday afternoon, and best friends Mia and Liam were rummaging through the attic of Mia's house. The two 10-year-olds loved to explore and were always on the hunt for something exciting. Buried under old boxes and dusty books, they found an ancient-looking pocket watch. His hands weren't moving, but there was something magical about it.
Look at this, it feels strange.
Before Liam could respond, the watch glowed brightly, and everything around them started spinning. Suddenly, they weren't in the attic anymore. They were standing in the middle of a medieval village. Mia and Liam looked around in awe. The air smelled of fresh bread, and villagers walked around in medieval clothes, carrying baskets and talking in a language that sounded old and different. A knight in shining armor rode by on a horse.
This is amazing! We're in the past!
Just as they started to explore, they met a boy their age named Thomas, who looked worried. He explained that he was in training to become a knight, but something terrible had happened. The kingdom's time crystal, which controlled the flow of time, had been stolen by a villain named Magnus. Without the crystal, time would stop forever. Mia and Liam knew they had to help Thomas recover the crystal and save time itself. The three kids set off on an adventure to retrieve the stolen time crystal. Thomas told them that Magnus lived in a towering castle on the edge of the kingdom. The journey to Magnus's lair was dangerous, filled with dark forests, high mountains, and deep rivers. But they weren't scared. Together, they formed a strong team. Mia used her quick thinking to navigate tricky paths. Liam's bravery helped them face dangers like wild animals, and Thomas used his knowledge of the land to guide them. Along the way, they faced challenges that tested their teamwork. In one forest, they came across a deep ravine with only a fragile bridge connecting both sides.
We have to trust each other.
They crossed the shaky bridge, holding hands tightly to avoid falling. After several days, they reached the entrance of the enchanted forest where Magnus's castle stood hidden. But the forest wasn't an ordinary one. Trees whispered ancient secrets, and strange creatures roamed the path. Suddenly, a group of mischievous fairies appeared, blocking their way.
No one passes without solving our riddle.
The riddle was tricky, but Mia and Liam put their heads together, and after some thinking, they solved it. The fairies were impressed and granted them a magical compass to help them find Magnus's castle. The compass led them straight to Magnus' towering castle. It was dark and gloomy, with thunderclouds swirling above. As they approached the massive gates, they saw Magnus holding the time crystal, laughing wickedly.
If you want the crystal back, you must defeat me in a test of wits.
The challenge was a complex puzzle that required not only intelligence but also teamwork. With Mia's clever problem-solving skills, Liam's courage, and Thomas's knowledge of the past, they worked together and solved the puzzle, defeating Magnus.
You may have won this time, but remember, time is always ticking.
Magnus muttered as he vanished into thin air, realizing he was outsmarted, and returned the time crystal. With the time crystal in hand, the trio hurried back to the castle in the village, where the king and queen were waiting. The crystal was returned to its rightful place, and everything in the kingdom returned to normal. Time was safe again. The king thanked them for their bravery and teamwork. As a reward, the kids were knighted as honorary knights of the realm, and the entire village celebrated their victory with a grand feast. Just as the celebration was ending, the magical pocket watch began to glow again.
Mia, I think it's time for us to go home.
Liam said, holding the watch tightly. The three friends waved goodbye to Thomas and the villagers, and with a flash of light, Mia and Liam found themselves back in the attic, right where their adventure began. As they sat down to catch their breath, Mia smiled and said,
I guess the most important thing we learned is that working together can solve any problem.
Liam nodded in agreement.
Yeah. And no matter how big the challenge, we should never give up.
They put the magical watch back in the box, knowing that their adventure was far from over. Who knew where it might take them next? The story teaches kids the importance of teamwork, perseverance, and problem solving. By working together, using their individual strengths and never giving up, Mia and Liam were able to solve big challenges and save the day. It's a valuable lesson that no matter how hard things get, you can achieve anything with teamwork and determination.